engaging in the comments there. But also when it comes to question time, I'm going to be looking at those questions and giving away some prizes for the best questions for Nicole. So there you go. You're going to have to get yourself prepared for that right now. And also for those that have ordered a copy of the book, as I said, make a note in there that you've ordered a copy and we'll give away something there as well. Wonderful. Right. Now over to the very important part of introducing somebody who has had a huge impact on my life as well, Dr. Nicole, because I got to meet her when we were working on the book, The New C-Suite. And this is some incredibly powerful human beings in there, basically looking at changing the face of what's required of us as leaders. And so Dr. Nicole was one of those contributors. And honestly, as soon as we connected, I was like, hey, it turns out we were separated at birth. Then we found out we got the same birthday. So there's a chance we were just a couple of years apart. But Nicole, I really want to thank you for this book. I really want to thank you for the work you've put into this. So now I'm just going to ask you very quickly, tell everyone in here, what was the inspiration behind this book?
Oh, wow. So the inspiration behind this book was really about 25 years of watching leaders and by extension, organizations that they lead struggle to live up to the values that they claim to uphold. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen that in your own workplaces. Time and time again, I saw a disconnect between people's aspirations and their actions, between the culture they wanted to create, but the reality of the way the organization was actually operating. But in 2020, two really kind of seismic events happened back to back. One, we had the murder of George Floyd, which brought about that global reckoning on racial and social justice. We also had COVID-19 pandemic that forced organizations to really rethink how they were managing people and how they managed work. And these two seismic events really shattered the status quo that existed within organizations. And I found that leaders were really in a crisis. They were facing both a personal reckoning of consciousness, but they were also dealing with how they wanted to lead as a professional. So they were dealing with their own beliefs and biases and blind spots, but they were also facing professional crisis in their leadership. And they realized that their existing strategies and styles were really insufficient for that moment. They had been insufficient, but they were really insufficient in that particular moment in time. And most of the leaders that I encountered, they really were unmoored. They were missing two things. They were missing an internal framework to guide them through the uncertainty. They did not have an external structure either within their own organizations to lean on. So the values that they had posted on their office walls, the values that they talked about in town halls and in strategy meetings, we know they were just words. They really lacked any meaning, they lacked any power, and they most certainly did not align with any actions that they were holding people to, or even holding themselves to. So I wrote this book because I believe that leadership really should not be reactive. It has to be intentional. And organizations should not simply be stating their values. They have to figure out how to embody those values. So I wanted to provide a roadmap for leaders who genuinely desire transformation, leaders who no longer wanted to struggle with the gap between who they say they are and who they actually are, and who they say the organization is and who the organization actually is. So this book is there to really not just challenge leaders, but also guide leaders and call them into their own consciousness as leaders, to call them into courage, and ultimately call them into transformation. So that was really the inspiration behind the book.